My name is Dudley, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about multiple intelligence theory. The theory of multiple intelligence was created by Howard Gardner, and he proposed a theory in 1983 that basically challenged standard IQ practices of the time. He said that intelligence was made up of 7 different components: logical, mathematical, linguistic, spatial, musical, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, and intrapersonal. At this time, he defined intelligence as a capacity to process a certain type of information, and he basically said that each of his types of intelligence fit into this definition. The first type of intelligence that he proposed was logical mathematical. People with high logical mathematical intelligence are able to think in conceptual and abstract ways, and are good at things like problem solving and determining patterns pretty quickly. One example that Gardner used for this type of intelligence was researcher and Nobel Prize winner Barbara McClintock, who was able to use her problem-solving skills to see discrepancies in data between her and her research partners, which eventually led her to the Nobel Prize. Logical mathematical intelligence is also one of the original concepts for intelligence, along with linguistic intelligence. The second type of intelligence that he proposed was linguistic intelligence. And people with this type of intelligence have increased ability in places like writing and speaking abilities. And they find it easier to do things like tell or write stories, memorize information, or read passages. Gardner cited T.S. Eliot as an example in this, because he was able to start his own magazine at age 10 and created 8 completed issues within his 3-day Christmas break. This showed his love for linguistics and also his talent, and shows his high intelligence in that area. The next type of intelligence is visual spatial intelligence, and this includes skills such as visualizing objects such as from different angles or plotting courses in someone's mind. This can come example when looking at things from different angles, or it's even used in chess when people are trying to plot their next move against their opponent, and it's used in aviation and routing courses from one place to another. The next type of intelligence is musical intelligence, and this is basically what it sounds like, which is the ability to play, read, and or compose music. And this type of intelligence is pretty easy to spot in young child prodigies who are able to specialize in one instrument or even multiple. One example of this could be Yehudi Menuhin, who was a child prodigy with the violin, who insisted on getting a violin when he was 3 and getting lessons at that time. By the age of 10, he became an international performer and proved his musical intelligence. The next type of intelligence is bodily kinesthetic intelligence, in which one is able to use their body in specific ways at a higher degree of skill. And this can be seen a lot in athletes who have specialized movements in sports. And people high in this type of intelligence are able to move their body in the best way suited to certain activities. One example of this that Gardner talked about was Babe Ruth, who was able to recognize his skill early in his age with pitching and was a legendary hitter in baseball as he grew up. The next type of intelligence is interpersonal intelligence, which is people smarts, basically being able to understand other people and recognize things like changes in mood, temperament, motivation, and intention. People who are high in this type of intelligence are able to excel in social situations because they're able to read people and cater to those changes. One example of high interpersonal intelligence is Helen Keller's teacher, Aunt Sullivan, who was able to understand Helen Keller's needs and be able to teach her based on her moods. And she's very successful in this because of her high interpersonal intelligence. The last type of intelligence that Gardner proposed was intrapersonal intelligence. It's basically being able to understand one's own self and their self-concept. And people high in this type of intelligence are able to reflect internally and understand their own emotions, where they're coming from, and how they can change them when they want to. One example of this can be found in Virginia Woolf's essay titled A Sketch of the Past, in which she reflected on her surprise and grief when someone she knew died, and this showed a good skill of reflection and high intrapersonal intelligence. Some people might ask why multiple intelligence was created and why Gardner created this theory, but Gardner created the theory because he believed that traditional intelligence tests, like the Stanford Binet at the time, were too one-dimensional. He thought that they were biased towards people who were able to achieve higher in areas that were on traditional IQ tests, such as logical, mathematical, and linguistic intelligences. The theory of multiple intelligence was created to include areas that were being dismissed by these traditional intelligence tests and include more areas that applied to more people. Gardner also believed that assigning a single number to intelligence will lead us to believe that we truly know what intelligence actually is, where we know in psychology that this definition of intelligence isn't very fixed. Gardner first talked about the theory of multiple intelligences in his book, Frames of Mind, The Theory of Multiple Intelligences, which he published in 1983. And this book, when it was published, got some mixed reactions from the public and from people in the field of psychology. Some people praised his theory for exploring different abilities from a broader range of people, and others say it was just a way to make people feel good about themselves because they could feel that they're intelligent because there were more areas that this theory covered. Gardner continued to publish books on multiple intelligence throughout his career, and these can be found showing the different effects of multiple intelligence and how it's changed over time. There have been multiple implications of multiple intelligence, but its biggest impact has been in educational psychology and the school system. After publishing his theory, Gardner met with multiple teachers who wanted to implement multiple intelligence into the school curriculum because they thought it had merit. And even now, there are handouts, like one in Early Childhood Today, that are geared towards teachers that basically state that teachers should create and use techniques that treat all kinds of intelligences as equal by structuring things like tests and presentations towards various types of intelligence. There's also empirical evidence that states that children in multiple intelligence-based environments succeed better than kids in the normal environments. One experiment in Malaysia showed that kids in a multiple intelligence-based environment score better on all of Gardner's intelligence tests along with IQ tests when compared to people in the normal classrooms. As it can be seen, the theory of multiple intelligence has been impactful in many places, and psychology's view of intelligence is constantly changing. So it's important to understand different views and types of intelligence as Gardner proposed with his 7 different types of intelligence. And these are my references. Does anybody have any questions on multiple intelligences?
Does this relate to like classes or like groups that are made for the gifted and talented, or like is there a group called like the gifted and talented?
Yeah, so it's been kind of implemented in schools and even in those groups as people learn in different ways. And so in like those gifted and talented groups, they kind of are able to cater towards people who learn in certain ways. So, because they're smaller groups, so they can teach people in those categories like how they can learn best.
Did you find any connections to
Lita Hollingsworth?
Rita Hollingsworth with this?
I did not find anything, but I could see where there could be some connection.
Did you see anything about extensions of Gardner's research, additional multiple intelligences?
Gardner actually talked about more multiple intelligences, or more intelligences in his, as like time went on. I think it was naturalistic and then existential. So he proposed more multiple intelligences, but they're not as like accepted as the ones that they have now.
So do you feel like Gardner would think that the IQ test or like the WACE isn't an accurate representation of intelligence, or?
Basically, he stated that it was geared towards people who had abilities in like logical, mathematical, and linguistic, but there were more like types of intelligences that weren't being tested in those tests.
Like the interpersonal?
Yep.
And those are all the questions we have time for.